Yeah, sorry.
Whoa, this ain't going.
But I appreciate everybody on the chat tonight for your comments. Well, hello, beekeepers. Welcome to the Bee Connection tonight. Hope you're having a good week. If you see me squinting, I still don't have my glasses, so instead of wearing these big bulky glasses, I might look a little closer to the screen. So anyway, hope everybody's doing good. We did do a lot of extractions this week, and I'll get into that just a little bit. We did have a hiccup with our new system that we got set up. It's not as elaborate as Melissa and Tom's, but we do have a little bit of assembly line, and we did run into a little bit of a problem. So breeder queen still not doing really good, not laying a lot, but we are kind of in a little bit, starting to head to a little bit of a dearth. So put a little bit of pollen patty on there with her, so maybe that will kick those bees up just a little bit. So it's been hot. I mean, really hot. And Keith will mention here, probably just like I will, that temperature is going to drop probably about 10 degrees, and maybe the humidity fall out of it a little bit. So that would be awesome for us. So, but overall, we're doing great up here. Things are still going. The bees look good. I did check all of them yesterday. Have some colonies still a little bit on the small side that hasn't drawn out enough comb. So definitely be putting some more sugar water back on those guys or gals, and see how they finish up. So they sell a few queens and can do some combines. So, and we'll talk a little bit about that also tonight. Get into talking about being queen right, and it's really important this time of year to be queen right, and a laying worker. So we'll get into that just a little bit later on in the conversation tonight. But Keith, what's going on with you?
Yeah, like you say, it's been hot. Had a couple of markets this week. It was up in the low to mid 90s at both of them, Tuesday and Wednesday. Hot again today. It's supposed to, we're supposed to be in the 70s on Saturday, Sunday, and then in the 80s next week. So that'll be a good change. Bee wise, finishing up, I finished up my 5 rounds of OA treatments on my hives and most all of the folks that I'm helping. So I'm glad to have that done. So I'm not running all over the place doing OA treatments, but that went really well. Drops look good. I've got sugar syrup on, I think 17 of my hives. 11 of them are drawing comb. 6 of them are just a little lighter than I'd like them right now. So putting a little fat on them. So, but yeah, I got to do some inspections. Maybe tomorrow afternoon. If the rain don't come in too quick and they're not too aggravated. If not, I'll just wait till Saturday when it cools off and get into them. Should be a lot nicer then. But a
whole lot nicer.
I'd like to go ahead and get the bees done, so I got Saturday to goof off when the weather's nice. So we'll see how that works out.
Must be nice to be retired. I don't know about you guys. You know, someone like Keith and JW is going their bees when everybody won't tell you, oh, I'm going to enjoy the weekend. So it'd be nice.
Watch what you wish for, buddy.
What's going on with you, JW?
Doing my thing. Fighting the moisture, heat and the moisture, humidity here. Having a problem getting the honey dried up. And I've been mowing and weed eating on my bee yards today.
Ooh.
Mowed all day from about 8 this morning. As soon as it got semi-dry, and it's so humid here, and the water grass. I'm running after I mow, then I'm running the yard sweep over and picking everything up because it's just a mess, just literally a mess. So that's what I've been doing, fighting, trying to get my honey dried down. It's took on a couple of points, since I bottled it, or didn't bottle it. I actually put it in barrels and in buckets. So, but it's way too wet, and I'm not having much luck getting it dried back down. So
Yeah, that's
I'm gonna
tough.
have to run it all through the bottle. I'm gonna have to heat it and run it on through the bottling tank. Maybe, I don't know. So
Yeah, once you get it in buckets, it's a lot more trouble to dry down.
yeah. So I've even thought about setting it out and putting it in, shallow pans. Maybe, you
Yep.
know. I've got fans. I've run fans on solid since Sunday. And I've got it down from where I started. Some of them I've got it down 2 points. Some of them I got it down a little over a point. Looks like on my. So.
And you said some of the honey that you had from last year also moved up on you. Is that right?
It's in the bottling tank. That's it's the last of my last year's honey. I've got about 15 gallons of it in the bottling tank, and I tested it this morning just to see, and it was 19.5%. So I've recalibrated my refractometers and tore one up trying to get it recalibrated. Got another one. Actually got two more, so they're all reading the same. So I've just got high moisture honey right at the moment. I'm trying to get it dried up. Anybody got any absolute suggestions? Well, let me know. I'm running 2 humidifiers and 5 fans.
Have you got it there in your shop? Is that where you're trying to work on it at?
Yeah, this is not my shop here. That's behind
Okay.
me. It's a worker. It's where I do all my wax dipping and that type of stuff. And that's a 3-sided shed. That's what that is.
Yeah.
Charlie probably have the answer for me. How did I dry up my honey, Charlie?
Is it still in the comb?
No. No.
Yeah, that's the problem.
I put it in a hot or a dehumidification area and then stir it a couple times a day.
That's what I'm doing, and I have been since Sunday. And I got some of it down 2 points. I got some of it down 1 point, and it's still way too.
It'll take 4 or 5 days to get it down.
Yeah.
Hey, Troy. Hey, Rick. Haven't seen you for a while.
Charlie. Yeah, it's been a while, buddy. So what you been into?
I've been treating in between hot spells. A couple weeks ago, it was that 4 or 5 day window of 80 to 85. I put my first dose of Apricot on. And then today we had the rain and I don't know, it was cooling down around 82 degrees. And the storm was a coming, but right before quitting time, I got out there and put the second dose of Apricot on and got that done before the rain hit. So new product for me to use, and it's doing well for me, and I'm getting more confident in it and understanding it too. So definitely.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of the Apricot. I think it works really well, actually.
Well, like I was saying in my videos and stuff, I've been researching it, and like Formic Pro, I know it should be 80 degrees. I know by experience 80 degrees or less low humidity. And then I'm in a safe zone. And Apricot, watching with Bob Benny, he had a video out about 2023, I think it was. Anyway, he was saying if it's 90 degrees or above, forget it. And 80 to 85, I think he actually said around 50 grams, but the first dose I did 25. I feel confident enough that I could do 35. You know, I do a 35 or 35 and a 30 and I'd be done. And it's pretty it's simple. It's actually a little bit simpler than Var. I don't have to worry about nails and putting them through the hole and then taking them back out and all that stuff. And
Yep.
I just put the shim on, open it up, throw it in there, put it back down, and I'm done. And that kind of thing. The only thing I noticed is
when you add that, you put that in more farther in the back of your entrance, up next to the entrance.
I put it right in the center. I put it right in the center of the box.
Okay. Yeah, that's what I wanted to ask.
What's your experience about? I mean, I got some April guard. I stirred it up, stirred it up really good, or at least I think I did. You can see kind of like some crystals in there. But do you have a problem sucking that stuff up into your syringe?
Yeah.
I don't think I've ever sucked it up in a syringe. I really, be honest with you, Charlie, I'm bad. I'll be honest with you. I just scoop it up and put it on the pad about what I feel like it should be. That syringe doesn't work very well for me, but that's me. Okay. And I'm not saying that's what you should do. That's just what I have been doing. So.
Want to be sure and mark that syringe too before you start using. I told Matt.
Yeah, like Todd there said, he's doing 33 at 88. If it's close to 88, I don't, that's too close to 90 degrees for me. But
yeah,
I like that. I like that 80 to 85 range. It seems to be working well for me. And the only thing I was out there tonight at the guy that helps me pull honey, and we got lit up out there to see. I mean, it was at 7:00. The rain had quit. The sun had come out. And I'm like, let's get it on because I got Friday night show to do. And
all the bees did the same thing.
He didn't have all these shims like I thought he was supposed to have. And so anyway, we got 4 out of the 6 hives taken care of. After that, they started getting nuts. I'm like, all right, we're done for tonight. But I stirred that bucket up even more, really get it kind of soupy. And I don't know. It's, I'm used to drawing up for medication and whatever, on the ambo or whatever over the years, and you push the air in and you brawl back and then it's there. Well, I'm like, draw it up and it's like vacuum hung, and I'm like, all right, squirt it back out and draw it up again. And sometimes it'll suck right up, but I think it's the size of the granules and stuff. And I did cut the end of the syringe open, make it bigger.
Yeah,
that's a good idea.
So I don't know. It's just a learning curve type thing. But other than that, I like it.
What does your you run screen bottoms? I'm pretty sure, don't you?
Yeah.
Hey, what does your mite drop look like with the ApiGuard?
I don't know. It's been too hot to do all that.
Okay.
I got a hive out there that is weak, and I hopefully Saturday it'll be decent, with low humidity, and I'm going to dig into that hive. It's just so miserably hot that it's like this evening. It was the humidity was going down because the storms were coming in. You know how that is. And I just opened it up, put the stuff in, I was like, well, should we shoo the bees around? I'm like, forget about the bees. They'll move out from underneath of that card. And it was like bing, bang, boom, and I get it done. And that was the end of that. So I brought some.
Hey, Matt, what's going on in your area, buddy?
Well, probably similar to JW. We're just dodging the heat wave just kind of past us. So we're in, I don't know what it is now. It's probably, I don't know. I don't think it's 80 degrees. It's probably high 70s right now. Humidity's still there a little, but actually I went to basically right size the last mating nukes, and get 10 they're divided 10 frame boxes. What I rate, so they need to be rehived at this point. They're they're ready to explode with two and 3 frames capped brood, and so ending the queen mating for the year and getting those set up for winter, basically winter configurations, and getting my treatments on. So similar to everyone, I'm sure. OA right now, I'm blasting them, getting that out of the way, and then I'm doing apricot. So that's the way I'm going about it. I think it's a little too cool unseasonably right now. I don't want to jump on an apicard regimen for a month. I feel like our temperatures are going to soar up in the mid 90s, and I'll be half dosed. I'll be able to, so I really want to treat them with OA as much as possible. This next wet break here in the next 3-4 weeks. Go. So I definitely want to mix it up this year. I just used OA solely last year, and that was a pain in the needle. I was extremely intentional with it. It ended up working, but I do not want to go down that road this year. If I don't have to. That was a lot of work.
What, constantly doing OA, Matt?
Oh my, yeah, that was.
I've been down that road several years back. Where a lot of people say, like you're saying about every 4 days and whatever, this and that. And I said, I did it from September to the end of October, right when the time change hits. And I was doing it once a week. And then I said, I'll do it twice a week. And you talk about, I was probably using 5 to 10 pounds of OA in a year. And talk about, even though with the ProVap and all that, it's time consuming.
It's a lot of work.
And now I do OA in the wintertime twice a month. And then this year Apricot is new because I got rid of Aprivar. And then I do Formic Pro in September. And a lot less work. So.
Yeah. You have to be really interested, and I think you do get a good drop on the phoretic mites at least, and I feel like it's going to help. And then this temperature window, I just want to be safe that I'm going to be able to get in 3 rounds of Apigard in, whether it be 35, 30.
Yeah, that's what I want to do. 30. If I'd have had it done it all over again, I would have did 35 the last time, and I would have did 35 today, and then the next time around I would do 30.
Yeah, temperature. But I just don't want to get caught in that third dose and not be able to do it. And then what? And then I have to wait. How long wait? Do you have to wait for Apigard to clear thymol before you can go back to OA? I know Bob had that synergistic effect on it, but I just didn't know how long the off gassing.
Yeah. I don't know. I remember the video, but he said 2 or 3 weeks, I think.
Yeah.
I'd wait a month if you want my opinion, Matt.
Yes, sir.
I'd hold off a month if you're putting on full doses. That's just my opinion now.
Todd says a couple weeks.
Yeah.
I mean, for me, it'll be a month between, between those 2 different types. But
10 days, 9 time for me.
If you got low populations that don't track that stuff up quite as well, you're going to have some residual in that hive. I'm telling you.
No.
If you got real strong hives, you can get by with a couple weeks. In my opinion. That's all I'm going to say about it. But I do not, even unless they're really, really strong, I'd hold off a month if I was going back with OA after Apigard, which I'm going to do.
Hey, Brian.
Howdy.
Brian.
What's going on, Brian? What you doing, brother?
Just got home from dinner.
Oh. I figured that's what Tom and Melissa are doing right now. Is probably eating. So
Yeah.
they said they dropped 50 grams on them today.
Yeah.
They did 50 grams of OA.
Apricard.
Apricard.
They vaped them for 15 minutes straight.
That's what it was.
They smoked the whole neighborhood.
Exactly. Well, what they did was they walked to the middle of their apiary and they just spun in circles and just
There you go.
kept vaping.
Contact buzz.
50 grams for the yard.
You're using
Yeah, Tom went out and bought that new bazooka or whatever they call it.
Oh yeah.
Exactly. That's it.
It'd be hard to measure
What?
those with that instrument.
Yeah. How's everybody?
Doing pretty good, Brian. You?
I'm all right.
I do have a question for the group, and had this to happen on Monday. Had a gentleman that had bought some queens off of me, and I've always been curious about this. And you guys have probably, maybe it's happened to you or hasn't happened to you, and maybe this will help some people in the chat also. But the guy had called me up and said he needed a couple queens. Said that his hives were without queens, and so I sold him a couple of queens, and they were laying really, really good. And I asked him, I said, had they gone laying worker? And I almost felt like one of them had definitely went laying worker, just by how he described it. And he called me back up and said, well, one of your queens is not laying good. And I said, well, I'll tell you what I'll do. I'll bring you another one, and we'll just switch out that queen for a new one. And then I got to think, well, it's August. If that queen hadn't been laying for, been almost 3 weeks, then probably need some brood in there too. So I brought him 2 frames and a queen. That way he could see the brood pattern on this new queen, and he'd be happy with it. When I got there and I looked at the frame, it was very interesting. She had been laying. Nice, pretty good pattern, about that big. There's eggs in there, and every once in a while there was drone cells that were, in the midst of that. Oh, she laying some drones like that? That's weird. And it looked like she had some larvae starting to come on finally. But in the perimeter of that circle on the outside of it, they was eggs everywhere. So I'm talking like 4 or 5 eggs per pocket. And I have a sneaky feeling that he put that queen in there laying worker. And she was probably, the whole colony is probably fighting with itself this whole entire time. But I'd like to get y'all's opinion on the chat, and then maybe somebody else here on the panel and tell me if that's the case, or maybe this queen is bad and I didn't know it. So what you think, Brian?
Where were the eggs in the bottom of the cells?
Yes. Yeah. And they were singles. So, but like I said, outside this circle, there was, multiple eggs everywhere.
Yeah, but on the sides of the walls or down in the bottom of the cell?
They were in the bottom of they looked just like the queen had laid them perfect, right in the bottom of the cells, sticking up. But the ones that were on the outside were just everywhere.
Oh, yeah. If the eggs are, your queens will typically hit the bottom.
Yep.
If it's a laying worker, because their abdomen isn't as long, they're scattered around crazy.
But if there are multiple eggs at the bottom, like Mark says, it's a new queen. She's getting.
Yeah.
But did he have a virgin in there and put another queen in there? And now they're fighting and trying to jockey for position.
What did the other brood look like?
Wind's still low.
When you say the other brood, there wasn't any brood. That queen should have had, the larvae in there. It should have actually been capped brood in there. The only capped brood in there was drone cells, but it was sporadically all over the place. So,
Ricky, I thought that exactly what. Matter of fact, I probably made it a couple. So you don't have 9 textbook. You'd go back later, and it was like body, and it wasn't like a full drone, it was like a size drone. So it wasn't like definitely or not queen is what I. I mean, there was a queen laying there. She, but it wasn't. I think she just either a little bit of.
You're breaking up real bad, Matt, on me anyway. Can the rest of you hear him?
No, I'm having a hard time too.
Yeah. You're breaking up real bad, Matt. We can't hardly hear you. We can't really tell what you're saying. I can't.
Sorry, is it better now?
Yeah, that's better.
I don't know if you heard the start of that or not.
Go ahead and start it back over so everybody can hear it again.
So sorry. So yeah, just with raising probably maybe a couple hundred queens in total this year, I've seen it a handful of times already. It would, in my opinion, be a not very well mated queen, and
Okay.
she would go in there, and you'd just see an outrageous pattern, and you'd just be super pumped, that you got an awesome queen, and go back a week later, and it's not full size drones. I would call them like worker size drones. So it's almost like she just wasn't mated properly or well enough to be laying what she should be. But the pattern itself looks just like a perfect laying queen. But the pattern itself, when they cap it, will show you it's not worker brood that she's laying, and it's kind of disappointing and deceiving. But if you don't go back and do those checks, in my opinion, that's probably how the commercial guys are kind of dropping the ball a little bit. They're shipping out queens before they really know what that pattern is, because if it's not capped and worker brood, it's not a viable queen.
Well, a viable queen, yeah. Okay, that's definitely a good possibility. So that's good to know. And I do have her back, and I do have her in another call because I do want to see exactly what's going on with her. I will say that when he went and he actually marked her, and this goes again, and it's nothing knocking this guy at all. It's like when you get a new pen and you leave a lot of liquid on the tip of that pen, you don't really dot it off really, really good. Dot it on everything. I'm going to tell you, you don't need much, and you think you need a lot. Well, when he dotted the thorax, he went all the way down her back, in the middle section, down almost to her tail. She's definitely blue now. But I definitely want to see, I'm not going to say that was the cause of it either, because she still looks fine, and the bees don't seem to mind her. So
the thing of it is, Ricky, I mean, when before you gave it to him, she was a fine queen, right?
Yes. Yeah, she was laying good.
So there's something going on in his hive. It's not your queen.
We'll see.
I think he either had a virgin in there and he didn't know it, and she got mated and she's starting to lay and all this other stuff. It's something's wrong.
And Charlie, I kind of agree with you a little bit, because the queen looked different. She was a little bit darker than the one I had given him. All these were really caramel color. And when this one came back, she had some stripes on her, so it was just a little bit different. And again,
more carny than she was something else.
Yeah. So,
yeah, it sounded like to me your queen got killed.
It may have. Yeah, I kind of maybe.
That's
I don't know.
That's the problem with either dealing with. I found dealing with people selling nukes and dealing with people selling queens.
Yeah.
Every time you sell somebody something, you got to give a free bee lesson.
Yeah.
And you do. I'm selling virgins, and it's like, well, how do you install that? And I'm like, all these bee clubs, I said, the only thing they've ever told you about is a mated queen. And it's like, my queen, she's virgin. She's got attendants. She's got a candy cage. Put her in there. Let her eat the candy out. She'll go out and get mated, come back, leave her alone for 2 weeks. I don't know. I get aggravated sometimes, and that's like the nuke, well, I'll keep it in the car for 3 hours, and just cook them, and stuff like that, it's like,
right.
Or I'll get hive tomorrow.
Yeah.
Well, I had that. Guy came here several years ago. It's 6 o'clock in the evening, 6:30, something, it's going to be dark at 8 o'clock or something like that. And oh, I'll get around to it tomorrow. And I was like, no, you won't. I said, you got an hour and a half. I said, you either put these, I said, it's going to take you 15 minutes to put these bees in a wooden box, or you're going to, and they were in cardboard, or you're going to put them on top of that box and open up the entrance so they get orientated to that so they can get out of that box so they don't overheat and cook and melt and everything else. I just irritates daylights out of me. I said, I sit here and pet these bees along and get them going, and I give you a great product and you want to trash it from the get-go. That just burns me up, and I'm not gonna, what would you say, yeah, I'm selling you the bees, but it's like I don't want to, it's like me selling you a dog. You're going to be mean to it. You're not going to buy it. You're not getting the dog from me or my bees or whatever if you don't know what you're doing.
Yeah. Hey, so, Keith, have you ever seen that before? Have you come across that? Have you dealt with laden worker? What do you think? What's your opinion on it?
Yeah, I mean, seeing the laying worker in there, but then you also have some good brood. I've ran into that before. You never know how it's going to turn out. I mean, I usually give the new queen the benefit of the doubt and give her a little bit more time and see if she'll work her way out of it. If she doesn't, I just always combine laying worker hives with a strong hive and just be done with it. So, but yeah, like I agree with Charlie. It sounds like your queen is fine. There was something funky going on with the on the other end of that deal.
You got somebody that doesn't know.
Yeah.
What about you, JW? What you think about it?
No comment. I don't know. It could be it could be a lot of things in my opinion. So who knows? If you're not there, if you're not sure that the one you got back wasn't your queen, that's probably what happened. But who knows?
Mark says check her front legs.
Okay, yeah.
Queens don't change color.
And if you hit her with that ink, like you were saying, if you get an antenna with the ink on it, you're done.
Yeah, she was pretty blue. I'll be honest with you. He told me, he said, well, I got this new special little case, that you pinch in, and I marked her, and and he said, I didn't mark the other queen, which I thought was kind of interesting when he said it, but when I got her back home and I looked at her, she was so blue, like, ow, definitely can't sell that queen, and hopefully she'll make it through the winter. But if she's not no good, like Matt was saying, and it's just a failing queen that didn't really get mated good, then I'll just pinch her off and get rid of her, do a combine. So,
well, it's like Mac said, you might check her legs too if you got her back, where she can measure out, tell for sure. Might make a difference sometimes too.
Yeah.
So it's hard to say, honestly. Secondhand. Really is.
Yeah. It's kind of like playing, backup quarterback or something. It's you think you kind of know what's going on, but if you're not in the game, you don't really know what happened, right? So
armchairing it,
yeah. I've got a question for you, JW.
No, I don't have any questions for Todd tonight. I'm in a mellow mood tonight. This has been nice to them Californians today.
There's a truce tonight.
I'm about to start dinner. Okay, old buddy, I'll come up with a question then. We keep you on the line.
All right, Todd. Troy, you must be picking on me putting initials on there. So. Yeah, that's
Kent Williams come out not too long ago talking about the drones and the viability of drones and and even that queen getting mated with. She has no idea if she's mating with fertile drones or not, but coming back to the hive and expressing almost 80% of the semen that she takes in. and just because she's overloaded, so to speak, and then she gets to laying basically with 20% of what could be as much as 50% viability in drones out there, and that was, they came to Kent's farm down there and did testing, but I think it was 52% or in the high 40s to low 50s is what his percentage was higher
Yeah,
than some. But
I think the bees out of California were like 52, and they had tested like Purdue's queens up there,
yeah.
and they were like 40, 42 or something like that.
So I mean, at best, that's one out of every two drones isn't any good, So the mating of queens couldn't be more important as far as viability and time that they can play a successful pattern.
I don't think I could get a queen mated at my place right now. My life depended on it. I've got a video, and it partially showed up that I took yesterday. Oh, there are just literally thousands of dragonflies in the air, thousands of them. The worst I ever seen them. I guess it's all the moisture we've got here this year. I've had every problem known to man. This has been a bee year from Hades for me. It's been a bad year.
Yeah, I'm seeing a lot of dragonflies here, but nothing like that.
Oh, I didn't send that to you, did I, Matt?
No, I didn't.
Yeah, it's hard to see it because I just taken it with my camera, but there's literally, I'm going to say 200 in a little old 30-second video that I took there, just out in flying over the grass in the yard.
Well, about the dragonflies, is that there's a pond around, or is that?
Oh yeah, I've got ponds every place. That's
Okay.
That's my,
And I got a pond here.
when I lay in between two arms of a 1,000-acre lake, so I've got plenty of places for them to produce. And
I got a bunch of orange swallows around I like to shoot, but other than that,
yeah, I've got. Oh, they're just like I said. I've got them by the thousands right now. Sometimes they don't last very long. But what I found out here, when we don't have many horseflies, we have a lot of, for some reason, horseflies and dragon, the dragonflies don't mix because we don't have many horseflies this year, and this is the prime time for them. So I don't know.
You got rid of all your horses.
Sir?
I say you got rid of all your horses.
Well, no, I've still got three. I've got 2 horses and a donkey. So
Those dragonflies, they're highly successful predators. I think they're successful at gaining their prey 90-some% of the time that they chase after something. So they're basically just like little helicopters, and they want something bad enough, they'll get it.
We had so many dragonflies in my area of Ohio a couple years back that it was on the news. They were showing up on the local radar.
probably they would hear if I had one, so.
Yeah. Well, the local, like, there's a small little regional airport around here, and they were showing up like in the radar at the airport, and they showed it on the news. Like, they showed these, like, they were like these wavy kind of pattern things, and here it was like huge, like, numbers of dragonflies, and they were all over the darn place.
Well, I've got them that way. You just, everywhere you look, there's a dragonfly flying.
JW, I tell you what I just realized right now is you are so kind of a person that you basically said, I'm going to take everybody's dragonfly so no one else has to worry, and I'm going to hold them here.
Well,
the kind of guy he is.
That's probably true. I hate to admit it, but that's probably true. I'm really a kind person.
Such a nice.
Thank you very much.
Exactly. Oh man.
Except for a few of them guys on the dirty side, I'm not too nice to them, but that's.
See. Chinese drones, robot dragonflies. That's it.
Are y'all seeing your drone populations dropping pretty quick? I am.
Yeah. I'm not seeing many drones at all around my house.
No.
Around them either one.
I'm going to check mine this Saturday. So I hit them with their fifth UAV Monday. So Saturday it's supposed to be like 76 and sunny. Perfect day to get out there. So I plan on going through all 18 of my colonies just to see what they're doing. So I'll know then.
Mhm.
Yeah, as far as drones, I mean, the only thing I've done this year when it comes to drones, I put, well, I'm running mediums, but I put two medium drone frames in each hive.
Mhm.
And I
Yeah.
definitely got plenty of drones and this year. And then also that really reduced the burr comb in between the boxes.
Mhm.
The drone, where they put drone burr comb in there. Now I did see in one of the hives, I was checking the drone frames and they're backfilling it with honey and stuff like that now
Mhm.
and all that. So what's happening, Jay?
Not much.
How's things with you? How's your
I'm gonna
bees?
be I'm gonna be honest, not too well.
Uh-oh.
So I checked my hive last Thursday and everything seemed pretty good. I put in some beetle traps and they seemed all right. The numbers seemed pretty small, and so I was a little worried about that. But overall, it was just another normal hive check. And about 2 days at least later, I didn't see any bees coming out or coming in and out of the entrance. And so I was like, well, what in the world? So I went over there and looked, and I couldn't see a bee in there. So I peeked through the lid, and there was not a bee in sight. So I completely opened it, and there was not one bee in the hive. There wasn't a dead bee in there. The only things in there were these big black ants and hive beetles. And so
Hmm.
I'm still not sure of why they left, but I have a few guesses. One of them being maybe there's too much human activity around it because it's in our backyard, I'm thinking. Um, or maybe I just wasn't feeding them enough. I'm not 100% sure.
Bees are still a wild animal. We're all kind of lucky that they stay in the boxes that we put them in. For the length of time that we put them there. We just all have to get a little bit lucky. That's what it comes down to. They're still a wild animal, in my opinion. We can't ever tame them. We give them the best option from, and hopefully they stay. But how big was the colony before you checked them? You noticed a drop in population, a nuke, or
They it was I was kind of worried about them because, and this is not good, but they were barely covering 2 frames,
yeah,
and they
Yeah.
they had there was brood and eggs, like there's brood of all stages, but I don't know what happened. I don't know if maybe hive beetles started, I guess, messing with them and eating some of that brood away because they had brood, but they just weren't growing like at all. And so I didn't know if maybe they were just like, you know what, too many hive beetles, and so they bounced. So I'm not 100% sure of why they left.
Sound like to me, were they, let's say, 8 or 10 frames months ago?
No, I got them as a package, and I would say mid-May, so I got them a little late. Um, but they were doing fine. But I hadn't been feeding them for, I think it was like 2, 3 weeks because I didn't have any sugar, so I couldn't make sugar syrup. And so they were just going off of nectar, and we didn't have very many blooming flowers at all. And so I don't know if maybe they just left because they needed to go find more food somewhere that was closer, or I'm really not sure at all why they left. And so lately I've been going around looking to see if I can find them, but it's been a few days, so most likely they probably already have found a home.
Mm.
another
And
hive by then, Jay?
Say again?
Is there another hive close by?
Not that I know of. There used to be a wild one, but they left because we had to trim around the tree they were in, and I think they got sick of it and left. But I only had one hive, and well, now I don't. But yeah, they left, and I mean, I've heard people say that they lose a lot of their hives in the beginning, but I just wasn't sure what I did wrong. But
You
yeah,
may not, you may not have done much wrong. One thing with bees is they will die. And unfortunately, they also will thrive. So you just got to keep at it. And if it's about changing locations or whatever's most comfortable for your situation, just don't get discouraged and just keep trying. Learn. We're all learning every single day. Again, I know
and
I am.
it was weird. It was weird because there wasn't even one dead bee in the hive or around the hive, on the ground or anywhere. So I was like, well, that's kind of weird. So
So,
that's why I thought it might have been. I didn't know if ants or something eat bees.
possibly it could be because they didn't have the population to keep the hive cool. They needed to find a room that was cool to support brood production. It may have just been in an inhabitable box, let's call it. That's what we're all putting them in. So it's you know we're just manipulating the sweet insects the best care we can.
Matt, you're breaking up real bad. You can't make you out.
Okay.
I will say, Jay, that and Mark Miller has a question. He asked if there was crumble wax on the bottom of your colony. When you had your colony, did you have a 10 frame and then have a super on top, or was you just basically just a 10 frame? And sometimes when you get down to a colony that has shrunk up on you a little bit, sometimes it's good to go back into a nuke because they've got more area or more bees to protect that smaller area. But it sounds to me like maybe your queen was even failing, maybe a little bit too. But could be resources. I mean, there's a lot of variables there. So I'll say what my master beekeeper says. It depends on what was going on. So really don't know for a fact.
It was kind of weird because last Thursday, whenever I checked them, I was hearing the queen piping, and so I was like, well, I mean, I'm sure that doesn't mean too much, but I looked on one side of the frame and I saw her, and on the other side of the frame, I saw her again, and so I was confused. I was like, wait, do I have two queens or just one that keeps going back and forth? And so I was like, well, I'm not very sure because it's hard for me to tell when there's so little brood what's drone brood and what's a queen cell, because there was, I don't know if it was drone brood hanging off the end or if it was a queen cell, but I thought it might have been too late for them to start swarming right now.
It's possible. Was that pack pretty solid? I mean, was it a good?
It was a really good package. I got them from Rossman Bees in Georgia. I don't know if y'all know who that is. And I had barely any dead bees in the bottom of it, like maybe not even an inch, and so that was really good. And within I think it was like 4 days. You broke up. I'm sorry. What you say?
Up to a full box. Stayed about 5 frames.
I think it was your hive, Jay. Was it 5 frames or was it 10 frame box?
It was a 10 frame. Yes, it's a 10 frame.
Yeah, but okay.
What I'm up population, they may have swarmed, and what you're seeing is potentially two virgins fighting it out with no brood in there. That's why you're hearing one pipe, is because the bees are actually chasing one of the other virgins away as they're selecting. I mean, what you're describing is what it kind of sounds like to me. But if I had to guess,
right,
they have swarmed on you. If they were,
I know that whenever they swarm, they usually don't go far when they swarm, and then they'll send the scout bees out to look for a permanent home. But I never saw them swarm, like, at all. And so, I mean, I guess they don't have to be close to the hive when they do that. But it was just weird. It happened very weirdly. So I'm still kind of confused, I guess, of why they swarmed. But yeah,
You
Bad.
probably need to tear that hive down now and do something with it, or the wax moths will probably come in and mess up what you do have.
I did. I put the frames in the freezer for 24 hours to kill all the, I guess, bad stuff off of it, and then
Yep.
I put them in my box and they're in the house.
Okay. Good job.
Well, let me ask you a question, Jay. Do you want some bees to go through winter? Do you want to? Let's just say I was to bring you a colony down there. Would you? Do you want to try to get one through winter, or do you want to just try again in the spring?
I would love to try to get one through winter, but I mean, you don't have to. I mean, if that's a hassle or anything.
Well, I might be down that way coming up here in about a week, and I might be able to swing down and drop you one off. So we might be able to help
That
you
would
out
be
there.
great.
Okay.
Okay, thank you so much.
Now,
These
Jay,
guys.
do you got
These
all
guys.
your
Go ahead.
you got your frames drawn out and everything? I mean, it's all. I mean, like 10 frames of wax.
So I don't know if y'all remember, but 21st Bee sent me 10 new frames because mine were warped,
Yeah.
and they had one frame completely drawn out, and that was it. They had another one that had a little bit of wax on it, but not much. And whenever I opened the hive, I noticed that some of the cells on that frame that had a little bit of wax on it, there was nothing in it. No pollen, no nectar, and it had obviously been older wax.
They were
So I
starving.
don't know.
Yeah.
Maybe they cleared it out
Runs
or
right.
what.
You need to. You didn't have nothing there for them to store anything, so you needed to feed them 1-to-1 sugar water a lot.
Yeah.
Never.
Yep.
You needed to give them a chance to draw those wax
Yeah.
frames out.
When I install a package, whenever I start new with a package, they get syrup and they get not an entire one, but they get pieces of the pollen patty. That way they have everything that they need to build right there.
And another thing is, if I know you probably don't have a nuke box, but
No, sir.
that's where you really need to start at, is confine them down to a small space, let them work that 5 frames out and feed the snot out of them, and then actually put another nuke box up on top and let them work up that small little narrow box. As old fat bee man used to say, it's a rectangular tree, and it works. They will draw wax out a lot better than and all that. And I think that, like Brian said, I think they starved.
And just remember, you're a new beekeeper, and this happens to a lot of new beekeepers. And for you to share this on a chat, I appreciate that this might help somebody else out.
Oh yeah.
And that's starting in beekeeping. And some of us just kind of get lucky. Brian can probably tell you that. I kind of got lucky my first 3 or 4 years, and then all suddenly it all fell apart. So
I mean, that's like with me. I started out, and I'll say Varroa wasn't as hard on the bees at the time, and I never treated for the first 2 or 3 years. I really didn't know nothing about the treatments and understanding them. But as time has progressed, Varroa might have become more prevalent, and you have to really treat.
I haven't seen one Varroa mite on my bees at all.
If you see them, it's too late.
Yeah, you can't go by that.
That's the biggest mistake that everybody makes. It's not that you can't see them. If you see them, your hive is way too infected.
Yeah.
You have to do a mite wash. But in your situation with a package, the main thing you need to do is feed them, draw wax out, and get them established. Get their house established first, and that kind of thing. Like you say, you got it late this year because the whole weather system is crazy this year. and all that. But I mean, where do you live at, Jay? I forget now.
I live in North Carolina.
Okay,
Down next to Raleigh.
okay. Well, if Ricky's coming down that way, you maybe can kind of
We'll give you some
give you
pointers.
some. You don't have any mentors down there. You were talking about that one other time, wasn't it?
Yes, sir.
And you got any clubs down there? I'm sure you do.
We have we have one club, but I've been, I guess, shy to join it just because. I mean, I don't have my driver's license yet or anything, and we're usually pretty busy around here, so I don't want to join a club that I can't be a part of, I guess. And so right now, I'm just relying on streams and knowledge from other
Just
beekeepers.
come out and hang out with all of us and all. And then Ricky, you get Ricky to stop by and give you some pointers. I mean,
Yeah.
it's so much better to have somebody in person and give you that finite details of look, see this, see that type of thing, and it gives you a much better insight.
And if all else fails, Charlie's going to teach you how to dance.
Oh, geez. That's an inside joke, Jay.
Yeah.
Are you coming to not? Yeah. Hey, did you sign up for the Nobby thing? Okay. Or you froze?
Yeah, I think he's
I
freezing
think
up.
you did sign up, Charlie.
Did he sign up for the what do you call it?
The next gen
Yeah,
program.
next gen program.
Was right when I was turning 40. I think I've seen Russian once.
His camera's froze.
Yeah.
But I'm not going to be down with it.
But I will. I mean, I really do. I mean, for somebody to come on new, even you guys are in the chat and you're listening, you're new. I mean, it. We all make mistakes, and that's what this
Yeah.
chat's about. Is bouncing stuff off of people. I ask a lot of questions for these guys. What are you seeing? That's what beekeeping's about. It's what a beekeeping community is about. You know, we may not agree about everything, but that's okay. At least we're learning together, and that's what's key. And you may say, "Hey, you know what? He was right, and I was wrong." So we can do that.
Well,
too.
it's like myself. I mean, I bounced how to apply AprilGuard, and then I look at it this way: we have a variety of people here across the whole United States and Canada, and then that means we have different types of weather conditions. Where you got Todd out there in California where it's super hot.
Yep.
You got Brad down there at Cajun Homestead down in Louisiana where it's high humidity, super hot. And then you have folks north, which are more moderate temperature maybe. And you can take all their different opinions and kind of put them together and then figure out what's going to best work for you if you understand your local weather and stuff. And that's what I did. And, right now for me, for that one product, I know my temperature range and I think what is okay to use as far as the dosage with that temperature range and stuff like that. Now, like we had that chat here months ago with Greg, and he talked about his killing his nukes years ago with AprilGuard, and he gave the dosage and all that stuff. Well, I got some nukes here, and they're kind of fragile, I'll say right now, and I'm like, you know what? I'm not going to put that on them and chance it or anything. And I have also had a few hives there. They're 10 framers where I dropped in some mated queens that I had, and they're taking off, doing well, but I didn't treat them either. I've looked at it this way. They had a brood break, so let them get a head start. I'll hit them with Formic Pro here in September when it's a lot cooler. Jay's back. You good, Jay?
Can you hear me?
Yep.
Yeah, we can hear you now.
So you
Okay.
submitted your thing for the next gen program for Nobby?
I did. I submitted a video to, I think it was, I guess their email or something, and they said they're gonna announce the winners in September.
Yeah. All right. That's good. As long as you did it, put your foot in the door.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah, Chris was on here one night, Charlie, and Jay got to talk to Chris Medeiros about the
well,
program.
that was the night I think I was on here too, which that
Okay.
was, what I'm getting at is if you can get in on that, that'll really help you out tremendously.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
And also with your family, I don't know where your financial, and that'll help you out financially with your family being able to go there and things like that. And definitely a young person that is into it. I can tell. And that's what always irritates me is you got some folks that are like their beehives are on their back burners all the time, where mine are always on my front burner. I'm making sure that everything is done when it should be done, or at least is try to, depending on weather conditions and stuff.
Yeah. Yeah. Don't beat yourself up when you lose a colony. Don't beat yourself up. I had a couple years ago where I lost every single one of my colonies. It happens. You learn. That's life. You live and learn. That's all.
And sometimes you don't know why you lost them all. I had 50% of my nukes go down on me about 3 or 4 years ago. I had half of my queens last year go down on me on my production hives, and I requeened, and in a roundabout way, it was a huge learning experience for me when it comes to queens, evaluating queens, understanding queens. And then I got into researching it and stuff like that. And I've come up with the conclusion that I found out, through chats and the commercial guys, Mid-Atlantic area, queens are good for 2 years. But in my case of doing the demery method, where I'm rolling demery and I'm forcing that queen to lay at a high rate the first year, she's no good after the second year for me. And then in the meantime, I also watched a science lady out of Texas. The queens dropped 40% in laying power after the first year. That's huge.
That's a lot.
That's almost 50%. And I seen that in this year's bunch of queens down through there, where last year they were fresh, brand new. They laid every cell up they could possibly lay up in that brood box, and they poured all their honey upstairs because that's what they had to do. You manipulated them that way. This year, she didn't lay up as that well, so there was a lot of open cells in that brood chamber, and they're laying honey up in the brood chamber, and not the whole thing, but a fair amount. And you can tell that. You could tell by the laying pattern and all that stuff. You start to key in with your eyes on those types of things, and a lot of learning curve just for queens for me in the last 2 years have really opened my eyes up about that.
Always learning.
Yeah, it's like I tell all the new beekeepers in my club or wherever, I says beekeeping is a science experiment that never quits. You're always experimenting, or and the problem with bees is it takes you learn a little something this year, and it takes you a whole next year season in order to maybe experiment / prove it out, whether you're right, whether your theory is right.
I'm getting some feedback through my mic, Rick.
Yeah, I think it's coming through yours, JW.
Okay. I'll mute it again and see what.
Yep.
Yeah, I think getting a little feedback through your mic. You got one of them strong mics,
Yeah, I don't know whether you turn it down or not.
I don't know how to do that. Brian probably knows how to do that. I'm not good electronics at all. So
Well, actually, I think if you can go to,
It's probably down in your settings.
I think if you click on the person's three dots over,
And then audio.
and then hit audio, you can tune them down some. I
Yeah.
think that's how that works. Brian should know, you're an expert at this.
Well, I don't have all the, like on mine, when I go to settings and audio, there's nothing as far as volume. So I don't know.
yeah.
Now,
I'm not good
I'm
with that
curious
stuff.
tonight is you're running the free version, right, Ricky?
Yeah, I am running the
Well, how are
free
you
version.
getting past 6 people here? Or
I have no
because
idea.
after tomorrow night, I'm going back to free because I ain't spending $432 for 1 year.
Right. We just lost Brian. Oh, we messed up.
I was going to say
He got kicked off.
Yeah, it wasn't that button, Brian. Try another one.
he knocked himself off.
So you're picking it up now.
There he is.
I
He's back.
clicked the wrong button.
I thought Charlie. They heard what Charlie was saying. He's like, "Oh, we can't do that for Rick. We got to get Brian out of here." So
Exactly. Charlie ratted me out to StreamYard. They looked around in the group and they're like, "Yep, that joker right
That's
there
him.
needs to go."
He's out of
he's
here.
gonna, yeah,
Yeah.
Is it picking up now, Rick?
yeah.
Fellas?
That's yeah. You're better, JW. You sound a lot better.
Are you doing much printing, Brian? Anymore? 3D? Oh, those angle hives, or what do they call them? Or
You know what's funny is,
hexagon?
well, no, this is an observation hive that I'm doing for inside.
Oh wow.
Yeah, look at this thing. I mean, it's decked out, but there was a kid on Instagram that his father like posted, hey, made this, said that he designed it and his son printed it and stuff. And the kid blew up. Like this kid had like 10 million views on Instagram, and like Popular Science did an article on him and stuff. The files where they got it, there's a gentleman that's late 50s, early 60s that designed it, and they're going around saying they designed it and all this stuff. And when I saw it, I said, well, that's not true. So I'm waiting for like the truth to come out, because like the kid is like, I think he's 13, and the guy that designed these, I downloaded them. You can download it for free. The guy that designed it, he uploaded the designs like 5 years ago. So I thought, well, what do you do? Take 5 years to make it? Because they were, the files are 5 years old. But like I said, I'm like, that's cool and all, but if that young boy would have given the designer credit, then I'm like, okay, that's that'd be better. But to say you did it when the files, like, I mean, you can go on Prusha's 3D site, it's called Printables, and you type out observation hive, and that comes up. And this young kid is going around saying, oh yeah, I designed this, and but no, I saw that before I even saw the stuff like this kid. And Jason Crook, he emailed me, or he texted me one day. He said, you see this? And I just leaned over because I had parts of this one on the carpet, and I took a picture. I said, I've been making one. So I'm going to try it out. It's got a little thing on the top where you can like put a quart jar for a feeder. It's got all kind of stuff on this thing. So, but no, I haven't been, other than that, I mean, I haven't even touched this thing in, 2 weeks. I've been so busy with other stuff that I just haven't had time.
So what's your game plan for Nobby, Brian? You guys going to do a booth? What you got going on for Nobby?
Oh man, you're hitting me up with questions. I probably am going to be with Greg again. There's more story, more information is going to come out. So, yeah.
Got something in the works, Deegans.
Well, I do.
Oh, nice.
So, it's just us on here, right? How many people are watching?
Oh, you got 65 people.
I made the decision 2 days ago. I'm stepping away from the printing.
Oh, okay.
So there's nothing happened between Jason and I.
Mm-hmm.
It's just, it's the time factor. I just like getting ready for Nobby.
Yeah.
I spent 2 months literally almost every day. Sometimes it was 7 days a week, printing. I'd be on Sundays out doing yard work and then coming up every hour and a half, and I'm popping stuff off, putting stickers on. So I spent, a ton of time. And I've gotten to the point that in the last, it's been brewing in my head. I've had the thought for probably 3 or 4 months. I've just been looking at everything in general that I do and the time factor. And I've just started looking at things and I'm like, I need to thin out some of the things that I'm involved in. And I got looking at that and I'm like, well, do I do it? And I literally stewed over that decision for a little while. And I just thought, it's time, and I told Jason, throw ideas off of me, because I did all the design work. I do everything on, I don't know if any of you do any like designing. I do it all on Fusion 360. I've got all the files attached to my account on Fusion. So, I told him, I said, toss ideas at me. I still will do that. But we're doing the split, he's just going to buy me out and I'm going to walk away from it. But I told him, I said, if he gets in a bind as far as printing and I'm able, I said, I'll use my printers. Cause one of the printers I had was Queen Wright dials. So that one, I'm arranging, I'm going to take that down to Maryland. I'm going to take that to Jason's, and I'm going to set him up down there. I'm going to spend, I already talked to my wife to go down for like a weekend and set it all up, show him how to print, literally do everything. Like I'm going to have it set up though. Pretty much it's dummy proof. It'll have all the files. All he's got to do is locate a file and hit print. So it'll be easy for that. But I told him if he gets in a pinch as far as like product, if I'm available, let me know and we can work out a deal. But like this fall, my son and I plan on doing a lot of hunting. I've had feeders. I've had 6, 8, 10 point bucks at the feeders that like I'm pumped to get out there, so there's a good amount of time that I'm going to be not available. I won't be sitting at home. So, and it just like I told Jason, I said it wouldn't be entirely fair for me to still be involved in it when I'm not involved. So I just decided, hey, it's probably best right now. And then if he wants to line up with like Rob, because Rob has a print farm, he could always talk to Rob, and Rob is close to him. So it would eliminate having to ship anything. He could always talk to Rob and Rob could print them. So, but we spoke about a couple different things and there's no hard feelings. We chatted, and when I sent him the email, because he's busy throughout the week, he called me up like right away and he thought I was joking. He thought it was like, he was like, dude, I didn't know it was April Fool's. And yeah, so I mean, he was pretty shocked, but there's no hard feelings, and he understood. He said, I totally understand the time thing, and so we're still good. I mean, I'm going to go down and spend a weekend at his place, so you know, but it's just one of those time things, and then the other thing that I looked at is the one big bee club that I go to. They want me to take over vice president. So, and well, the current vice president, she wants to step down, but she said, I'll still help you, but they want me to take that over next year. So I'm kind of looking at, I'm like, I can't take on more. It's like I only have a certain amount of a pie. So, I can't add additional things to that pie. I can't. So, it's just, and even like the quail that we have here, I'm thinning our flock of quail. So I just am kind of like downsizing certain things that I've been doing.
Yep.
I do have time for other stuff.
Well, it's like
So-
me, I had close to 40 some hives with selling nukes and selling honey and working, doing work on the honeys. And then actually at that one
Yeah.
time I was doing queens on top of all that. And then the last 3 years I hadn't did any queens because it was too much work with the nukes and the honey. And I got tired of dealing with people with the nukes. So I got rid of the nukes. I
Yeah.
expanded my honey productions because honey sales have boomed and people have been pointing. One guy up the road here that had honey, he was pointing because he quit, pointing everybody to me. And so, I'm down around 25 hives, and I don't have to spend the whole entire weekend working bees
Yep.
to keep up.
That's why, and I said also, like the number of colonies that I have now, 18. That's it. Greg was, he was thinking I was going to split some more. I could have gotten queens. I could get queens next week and boost my numbers even a little more. But I told him, I said, I think where I'm at right now is good. When I go through my colonies now Saturday, if I find any of them that need, if there's a pattern that's crap, then I told him, I said, I'll be in touch with the queen just for those. But I said, as far as going any higher than my numbers I'm at now, I don't want to. 18 is good.
You make it to where it's comfortable to work.
It is. And I mean, like, it's like when I was treating them with the OA. I go over there, I spend a half an hour. And the half an hour, that was suiting up. I'd throw a battery on the vape, turn it on, and I'd change over because I have like a set of clothes over there, like jeans and stuff that I just leave there. That way I don't have to worry about taking stuff. And literally a half an hour, I'd go through, do the treatment, and done. It's manageable, If I go any higher than that, like where they're at now, I would have to clear out some more land, because I've got enough room there now where I've got 2 rows of 9. And there's other land in there, and I plan on clearing some, but I don't want to, I don't want 25, 30 hives over there. Just that gets to a point where it's not a hobby.
Yeah.
So, but
Yeah, I
yeah,
mean, it's like when I have a bunch of dead outs, it's like, yeah, it's not so bad. You don't have to feed all them bees at winter time and everything else.
yeah,
And I had one nuke. I have enough space for 26 nukes or 26 hives. And I'm down one nuke because they were dwindling. And I was like, I don't care. 25 is just as nice.
yeah.
And then I got rid of all the stress of making sure there's nukes to sell in the springtime. That was huge.
Yeah.
And then, like you're talking about the vice president. Well, I did 4 years of vice president, 5 years of the president, and now I'm on the past president thing. I got until the end of this year, and then I've been 10 years on the board for the
Wow.
bee club. And I'm like, all right, I'm done. And they're like, ask me, aren't you going to come to the fair and help sell honey? And I'm like, no, I'm
Yeah.
done. I am burnt. I am burned out.
They asked me, like I did that last year, and I told them, I said, they do theirs in 3-hour blocks. And I told them, I said, I'll do 3 hours. That's that. I told them, I said, I got a life outside of this, you know. So, but I've been asking questions though, because I told the current vice president, I said, if it's like an insane workload, I said I will walk away. So I said, just to forewarn you, I said if I get slammed with all kind of stuff that I was not told about, I will walk away. So,
Yeah.
'cause I asked him straight up. I said, like, what's number of hours a month do you have to commit? Because I told him, I said, I don't want to commit to like another job. So,
Well, you got a board meeting. There's a couple hours right there a month.
well, they do a meeting once a month. It's on the third Sunday, and it's 2 hours. The first hour of it is they do like a luncheon thing where people just bring in potluck kind of stuff, and then the second hour is like actual meeting. I've spoken
I'm
there.
talking about not a club meeting. I'm talking about the board members get together and discuss the business of the club.
She said, like, as far as that, like, it's not like a specific scheduled thing. It's like they kind of they kind of communicate and decide when to get together. So now she told me, she said, set aside from the actual meeting, she said, I spend about an hour to an hour and a half a month with club stuff. I said, if it's an hour to an hour and a half a month, I said, that's doable.
Depends on what your vice president's duties are.
She said the number one duty that they have the vice president do is you are responsible for the speakers at the monthly meetings.
Yeah, that's tough.
And well, I know a ton of people around the area. So like for me to arrange some of the speakers, like they've had Fred Dunn come down before, and they said a year ago, was it a year ago? Maybe I don't know, maybe 1 or 2 years ago, I don't know. They were having like a hard time, like communicating back and forth. And after all was said and done, and they got him all set up, he spoke at their banquet. I told the current vice president, I said, you should have told me. I'd have called up his wife and got him on the darn horn. I said, if he's giving you a hard time, I'll call him. So, but a couple of the people that they've had come speak, I know them. So, I don't think I'll have that difficult of a time. But we'll see. I mean, it'll be another adventure, So,
yeah. The main thing of it is when it comes down to beekeeping and what you're doing and all that in your life is to keep it fun.
That's it.
If it gets to the point where it's a job, it's like, all right, it's time to change something.
Exactly. Yeah.
And it's like I had an out yard years ago, and I was working a guy's hives for him is what it amounted to.
Yeah.
And it wasn't that far away, but it's just the traffic of getting there. And it's like he passed away, and I'm like, I'm done that. I never want to have an out yard. And and then you sit there and it's like the hives behind me right now. They're my production hives. Well, right now I've been coasting for a month where it's been too hot to do anything with them. And I have had some problem children in there that I had to fix, and stuff like that maybe on the weekend when it was hot, but I didn't have to stay out there hours on end.
Yeah.
And right now I'm doing treatment, and I'm, but I'm not in them every week now. And
that's good.
The harvest is done. Everything's put away, which is great. And people say, I said, I tell people, I said, you know what? I'm tired of my bees right now. Well, especially with the, 95 degrees
the heat,
and it feels like 110 out there. it's like and I've noticed that when bees don't like humidity either, and you go out there in the middle of the day when it's hot and humid, they're all inside the house. They don't hang out. They're not bearding or anything. They're like inside, keep it to wherever they're what they consider cool, and they don't like to be messed with. Let me tell you, as far as when it's hot and humid.
Yeah.
So, like I say, I got it down now where I don't have to be there all weekend. I can be there maybe a few hours on Saturday afternoon, hit a few problems, and I'm done.
Yeah. Yeah. I see Russell Koopman on here. I got today actually, because I see Russell on here.
Yep.
I got the new those jumbo bob white quails that I got. We got our first 2 eggs from them today.
Hmm.
I was so excited. Walked out there and I seen them little teeny white eggs in there, and I was like, "Yeah!" I'm yelling for my wife. I'm like, "Tara!" He said, "What?" I said, "We got eggs." So darn happy. But yeah, Charlie, I'm the same way now. I have so many darn hobbies that I'm thinning some of it out.
Yeah, I mean, it's like you say about this being the president of the club and all, and I've been in on it for 10 years. I didn't mind doing it or nothing like that. I delegated a lot of the stuff out. I had good people that work with me. Some of them were aggravating, and I get rid of them and get somebody else new, and there'd be another aggravation problem. But anyway, that's just the way it works.
Right,
but now it's like, I'm like, I'm done. And I got to the point where my beekeeping educational level, my problem of it is that I can go to any bee club, and I even said this to the state inspector, and she just smiled, and she says, "Yeah, I exactly know what you mean." Is the fact I says every bee club does one thing: they cater to one group of people, and that's the beginner beekeeper. They never put any information out for the intermediate or advanced beekeeper.
It's true.
And it's like, I am bored. I mean, because of these chats, most of our chats are, I'll say, sideliner and above. And this is where we get our information from at our level and what we're trying to do, because we all are like, hey, we want our bees to, for the most part, to produce honey, and so we can sell honey and maybe break even or make a little bit of money on the side type of thing, and then we're also trying to, for me at least, I know a lot of guys here that I want to learn a skill. I want to learn how to be a queen rearer. That's upper end skill. That's a new skill set that's challenging and exciting and something new. And then take that skill level, like this year, I learned how to get my cell builder up running properly this year. I've been doing great with my making cells and virgins. Getting my mating boxes populated properly has been a challenge. That's next year's skill set. And then I'm thinking, I was laying in bed last couple of nights ago, and I'm like, you know what? I know exactly how to do that. If I can requeen every spring, get mated queens coming in, take the original queen out of all them 18 hives right there, put her, keep her on a brood frame and another frame, and put them in my 2-frame mating boxes. And then I can sell them for overwintered queens. And they got all that brood in there hatching out, and they'll stay there. And then I can put my virgin queens in there. And I've noticed the ones that I had that were mated this year, they were the ones that I must have put in some heavy duty brood frames that hatched out, and they had a good population for that queen to come back to. And that kind of stuff. So, I mean, that's just some different ideas I've thought about.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
but that's the biggest thing, and that's like with Nobby. I mean, I like meeting all our friends here, everybody here on this chat and all the other chats. We all finally get together to see each other in person, and then usually there's some good information talks at Nobby.
Yeah.
And I'd like to find some other places like Nobby that are maybe they're smaller, but
Right.
the skill set is up here, not down here at the beginner level.
Yeah.
That's hard to find.
I'm going to get to see two folks that are here in this chat here in about another week or so.
Who's that, Tom and Melissa, or what?
No. those two up there.
Okay.
If
Well, if you're going to come over to Jason's house, you're going right by the house here. You know that, don't you?
Yeah. Yeah.
Or all three of us can get together or whatever, you know.
I'll let you know. I'll let you know, Charlie, because it's probably going to be, I think, third week of August.
Right.
I think.
Okay.
So
right. That's cool.
And I mean, my
right
wife
around the 15th or so. 16th.
No, the week after that. The week after
23rd,
that.
23rd.
Yeah, somewhere in there. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, let me know. I mean, I'm only I need to go over to Jason's house and pick up my box from Nobby.
There you go. There you go.
So I got your box. I said, well, I didn't know I was supposed to pick the thing up. I didn't know what the deal was there. And he was supposed to come over here and shoot some video, but that never happened. He's been busy.
I'm going to tell him, I'll be like, I didn't tell you, but there's about 25 people coming over your place today.
There you go. Get him good.
Yeah, we did that the last because I called you off the last time. That's been 3 or 4 years ago. Hey, Jason, fun. I hear you're having a party. Can I come over?
Yeah.
What do you mean? He said, I said, well, it's all over the internet. You're kidding me. I said, no, it's all over the talk shows.
Everywhere.
Everybody knows that you're having a party.
Yeah.
Everywhere. That was fun, though.
Yeah, we did have fun. Guys, Clay's got home, so I think we're going to call it there. And appreciate you guys coming out tonight and being part of the chat. And, every time I get on here, I swear I learn something a little bit different, a little bit new. And, just hearing Brian talk about, his business and even us guys that are just trying to be sideline beekeepers, we do put a lot of stress on ourselves. So, find time to enjoy yourself because that's very, very important. Life's real short and enjoy being with your family. So, but until next Thursday, God bless, and we'll see you then.
See y'all.
See y'all.